Tera Smith. Tera Smith was a popular high school student and former homecoming princess. She was 18 years old and she was last seen heading out from her home from the outskirts of Redding, California on August 22, 1998, saying she was going out for a jog. She never returned. Her family would have to piece together what happened. 16-year-old Tera was having a sexual relationship with her married 29-year-old martial arts instructor, a man named Troy Zink. Zink admitted to authorities that he was with her on the night of her disappearance. He told police that she called him at work on her cell phone and asked to meet near her home. According to Zink, Tera requested $2,000 from him during the meeting. He said he refused to give the money to her and she became angry. She then asked him to drop her off at the intersection of Old Alturas Road and Old Oregon Trail in Redding. He stated that he then drove to Hang Glider Hill by himself to pray afterwards and returned to his home about 11:30 p.m. that night. Her parents have been very clear that they do not believe this story. Based on journal entries and letters found in her room after her disappearance, her father says he believes his blonde-haired, blue-eyed daughter asked Zink to meet her so that she could end the affair with him. Some discussing the case online theorize that she really did ask for the $2,000. It's an odd detail to make up, but rather that Tera may have done that in order to blackmail him not to tell his wife about the affair, especially given that she was an underage girl. This would also be a pretty good motive to make somebody else disappear. There was one unconfirmed sighting of Tera on the evening of her disappearance in Redding. A witness told investigators that someone matching Tera's description was spotted inside a full-size, dark blue 1976 Ford truck with mag wheels and a yellow tailgate. The girl was accompanied by an unidentified Caucasian male, but it has not been established if this sighting is related to Tera's case at all. Zink had one initial interview with the police and refused to speak to them again after that. As for Zink, he would later plead guilty in a 1993 rape case. He would additionally serve another 4 years for being a felon with firearms. But in Tera's case, he has never been named a suspect by the Shasta County Sheriff's Office due to a lack of sufficient evidence. He later said that he received a letter from Tera, which allegedly stated she was planning to leave her home, a letter he did not produce for the police. Her parents believe she would never have walked away from her life and that she died on the night she disappeared. In the years that have passed since her disappearance, they have watched Tera's siblings marry and have kids of their own, lives that Tera should have had also. If she was alive, Tera would be 39 today. If you have any information, please call the number on your screen. Joslyn Martinez. Consuela Martinez was the mother of a son and a 2-year-old daughter named Jozlynn. She said she heard her daughter in her bedroom in their home in Grand Rapids, Michigan, between 11 and 11:30 that night, although this would be called into question later on. On February 22, 2010, Consuela woke up. She found her boyfriend, $2,800 in cash from a tax refund, and her daughter missing. The boyfriend, Jeffrey Lynn Malbert, was an abusive man, and he was not the father of Jozlynn. He was, however, the father of a 7-month-old son that was left behind at the house. Their relationship was not smooth. Consuela had an order of protection in 2009, which he kept violating. Eventually, she petitioned to get it lifted and moved back in with him. Around the time he went missing, she was actively trying to get him to move out of their home. She said she had noticed minor bruises on her daughter's body and was concerned about abuse. He said they were planning to get married the next month. Jeffrey was quickly found and arrested in Lansing, Michigan, 2 days later. He was charged with kidnapping and larceny. Once in custody, he told the police that Jozlynn had died in the home that night and that he'd wrapped her body in a garbage bag and thrown it into a dumpster before fleeing to Lansing. By the time Jeffrey made those statements, however, that dumpster had already been emptied. Its contents had been taken to a waste-to-energy plant on Market Avenue. Authorities searched thoroughly through 200,000 pounds of garbage for several days, but without success. It turns out 90% of the waste taken to that site is burned, and it's very possible that Jozlynn's body was incinerated. After Jeffrey's arrest, Child Protection Services took custody of the boy. CPS had been involved on and off for years. Jeffrey voluntarily relinquished his parental rights in the spring of 2010. Consuela, however, kept trying to regain custody of the boy but was unsuccessful. She eventually gave up her rights so that his foster family could adopt him. Jeffrey swore to the police that Jozlynn fell down the stairs and died accidentally. However, he also told the police he suffocated her by accident when he got annoyed by a tantrum. Those close to Jeffrey, including his own father, believe he was angry because Jozlynn got more attention than his own child, and he was jealous. He spoke of his son as being a habitual liar. It would come out later that the couple used the tax refund to purchase cocaine. The night that Jozlynn disappeared, the couple was partying with some friends in the home. According to the boyfriend, she had died at 6:30 that evening, which would mean she was still in the house and had passed away and no one had noticed. Jeffrey would eventually be convicted of second-degree murder and sentenced to 90 years in prison. There have been so many lies it's impossible to know where Jozlynn's body was disposed of. If there is any chance, it isn't actually in the landfill. Her family desperately wants her body located so that she can receive a proper burial. If you have any information at all, please call the number on your screen. Alicia Waters. This is a short one and not usually a case that I would choose to showcase. I have limited information and limited photos, but it's heinous and the parents need to be found. Alicia Waters is a severely mentally disabled and physically disabled individual. In 2006, Alicia's parents were questioned about their behavior regarding Social Security disability payments for Alicia. It turned out they were trying to profit rather than take care of her needs. Because they chose not to comply, her SSDI checks stopped coming. In a world the Free Britney movement exists, it also showcased what can happen to someone when parents are conservators of a child who has money. Turns out Alicia wasn't just drawing Social Security. Alicia had a trust fund with over $1 million set aside for her care, money that came from a medical malpractice settlement. Her parents, as her caregivers, were to spend money on her care and in return receive up to $9,000 a month from the account. However, as you can probably guess by the tone of the story, that is not how it went down. Judges began to question their expenses. They were uncooperative when questioned about Alicia's care, including her whereabouts. Her parents refused to present her to the court to prove she was okay. Each time they would game this system, and once people started asking questions, they would move. They moved from California to Georgia to Tennessee to avoid questions. Alicia was last seen in Murfreesboro, Tennessee on April 10, 2015, the same date her parents were forced to stop drawing from her settlement, and a new conservator was appointed due to financial abuse. A warrant was issued for Florence's arrest in January 2017 due to a refusal to discuss Alicia's whereabouts. It doesn't appear that her father was ever charged. Later, in 2017, a Georgia television news crew went to the Duluth area and spoke to Alicia's father, Charles Walters. He refused to discuss where Florence and Alicia were. He said they were together. Neighbors reported they had never seen anyone in a wheelchair anywhere near the house. Alicia is confined to a wheelchair and can't speak. It is highly unlikely that she is still alive, or the parents would have needed to continue to try to collect money, as her care is expensive. If anyone has any information regarding what happened to her, please call the number on your screen so Alicia can be brought home. The same goes for Florence. There is a warrant out for her. If you have any idea where she may be, please call the number on your screen. There's a $5,000 reward for finding out whatever happened to Alicia. That's it for today. Thanks for watching and listening. If you haven't yet, please hit the subscribe button. We have 2 episodes a week and sometimes a 3rd bonus episode. Don't forget to send me a suggestion if there's a case you'd like to see me highlight on here. Take care of yourselves and each other.